Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bowhunting Wilderness Podcast. Jason here today. We're going to talk about how to get your vehicle unstuck, preventing from getting stuck, but if you do get stuck with your hunting truck, some fail-proof ways that are going to get you unstuck. Okay, these are some key things that you can think about and will benefit you tremendously because we all get stuck when we're out in the woods at time to time. So what can we do on here? First of all, it's important that you understand what your truck is capable of. Do you have a rear locker? Do you know how to use it? Okay, do you understand how to get into 4 low? These are things that you're going to want to know how to do if your truck's 4-wheel drive. There are some secret things that you can do as well too. We're going to cover a bunch of that, but if you have a rear locker, understand how to use it, and it will be a lifesaver for a lot of those situations. On here I have rear lockers and front lockers, so that's a major benefit too. So and a lot of times that rear locker will not even engage unless you're in 4 low. So read your manual and know your vehicle. If you got a Chevy, you have an automatic or a GM truck, you got an automatic G80 locker, which will require 100 RPMs of wheel slippage before the other wheel will lock up. So you got to understand that. If you have a GM truck, okay, if you have a Colorado or a Silverado or a Canyon or a, Sierra, any of these trucks, if you have that, you have to understand that, like, if you're stuck in rear, and you're just sitting there and your wheels are spinning, you're not going nowhere, don't give up, because you got to get 100 RPMs for that wheels to actually engage the locker. So you literally want to, and it's going to jerk you forward when that kicks in, but it takes 100 RPMs of wheel spin for the G80 to kick in. Many people don't even know that. You have a rear locker in a GM vehicle, but you require you to get on the gas to get it to engage. And when it does, it kicks in hard and abrupt, and it's powerful, but it's there for you. So a lot of people don't even know these kind of things about their own vehicles. So knowing that stuff is important. Carrying the right gear is important too. You'll notice in the back of my Gladiator here, I always carry with me that cooler. That cooler is a lifeline for a lot of stuff. Okay, I can put my White Scott power puller in here if I need to. It's my snake hook. I use it for pulling stuff in and out of the truck too. But in here I have a bunch of different things as far as just tie down straps. But see this? This is I made it myself. It is a jack block, okay? Right here, it's just a jack block. It is a couple of pieces of 2x10 and 2x4s or whatever they are. And, this side down jack block, okay? But, I mean, this is for me to use to jack my truck because I have taller tires, 35-inch tires. Plus, I'm off-road all the time. This gives me a solid base to put my actual scissor jack on to lift my vehicle if I need to. You'll also notice I have 2 of these in here. What are these for? Why is these in here? And I have all these straps. I got tons and tons of ratchet straps in here and tie down straps. If you have enough clearance in your wheel, okay, you have to make sure you have enough clearance between. See this gap here between the caliper and the rotor? I barely can squeeze that strap through there, but I can. But I could take this and set it right on here, take a tie down strap and wrap it around here, feed it through, wrap it around here and tie it so that this sits right on here like this. And then when I drive, this will spin around. It will come into here and it'll grab bite, it'll add traction and lift to my tires and lift me up and out of there. But remember, you have to do 2 rear wheels because you don't have, unless you have lockers, okay? But you got to do both the back wheels or both the front wheels. You can't just do one, you have to do both of them. How you doing? You have to do them both. So when you do that, but that will give you this kind of a setup right here, will act as like a tire claw, and when it spins will help pull you out. So we carry a couple of them in here with all the rest of my gear. These are garbage bags for picking up other people's crap. Okay, I got more of them right here that I just put in here because I didn't know those were in there. But picking up other people's garbage in the woods, they make me sick. So but anyway, this cooler, everything fits right in this cooler, and it's kind of a lifeline. And it just sits there like that right there, okay? And I usually have this string hanging here so I can pull it forward if I need to, or I use my snake hook, okay? But that is a lifesaver to have that jack plate, so I can use that jack plate and my stock scissor jack. If I am high centered, I can jack up one side of this on that jack plate, and then I can put my double traction boards stacked on top of each other underneath a wheel, and now I'm no longer high centered, and I can boom and drive myself and pop right off of there. So a lot of benefits to having something as simple as that homemade little jack base on there to give you that benefit. Now if we come over here, we're gonna have to move some stuff over here so you can get to this to show you. But there are a few items you are going to need to have before we get into some other tactics. So let me pull some of this stuff down here. Okay, sorry, live in my truck. There's binos, GoPro, that stuff, spare shirts, spare socks, waters, you name it, I got it in here. Just put my pack over here too. All right, so we're gonna take, actually I'm gonna take this out and shake it off here actually too. So we're gonna do that in a minute. But underneath here, under my back seat, we have all of the straps that you could imagine that I could need. Soft shackles, because if somebody's got to tow you out or you need to connect the straps together, soft shackles are the way to go. So it's important to have. You can see I got 2 there, 2 here, soft shackles. We have actual recovery straps. We have a tree saver strap. This is an ARB snatch strap, okay? This thing is amazing, but this is an actual like kinetic energy snatch strap made by ARB. And no, this is, yeah, right there, ARB. And but this thing is amazing. Okay, it's like I said, it's got some elasticity to it, so the kinetic energy helps pull you out. Spare hitch pin, which we'll show you why in a little bit. But these are things that you're going to need to have. If you don't have all the storage in your truck like I have in this Gladiator, put it in the cooler in the back end. That way you have a cooler too, because then if you end up shooting an animal, if you're out, say for example, hog hunting, and I end up shooting an animal, I can take that cooler and I can pull the stuff out of that cooler and just throw it in the corner of my bed over here and then use the actual cooler to have for my meat. So it's a functional, you know, simple process, multitasking. Now when we come over on this side here, we flip this one up, okay, we have things that we need. Shovel. Gotta have a shovel. Fortunately, I've not had to use it with this Gladiator, but every vehicle I own has a shovel like this in there. Doesn't matter if it's fiberglass wood, but this small mini shovel or a spade. I like the flats. I'm trying the flats. My other ones were always spade, but mandatory to have this. This is an essential item. This is way more important for self-recovery than anything else you could possibly have. So you got to have that shovel. I have a tire patch repair kit, or plug kit, okay? This plug kit means that I don't have to deal with jacks and stuff in the sand and in the mud or in loose soil. I don't have to worry about trying to jack my vehicle up and change a spare or be down there in the dirt doing it. I can use this plug kit and plug my tire very simply and easily. Okay, and it's fast, and those plugs last longer than the tires do. So these things work incredible. Little simple kit, not very expensive. I will put links to this stuff below for you, but vitally important to have this. And especially with me being a wedding photographer, twice in my 26-year career, I've had to change flats, both of them on F-150s that I've got while I was en route to a wedding or following the limo one time down I-94 and down by Detroit, and I got a flat tire. Okay, tire goes flat, and I pull over on the side of the road, and I didn't want to have to change a spare out. It takes too long. It was a screw that was stuck right in there, and it was just leaking like crazy. The screw didn't go all the way in because of the thread, so it was wobbling back and forth, and it just wrecked it. But I watched my light come on the dash. I felt the tire go flat. I pulled over. I rolled. I found it. I popped it out. I realigned the tire so it was back here so I could work. Ream, plug, air with the compressor, done. So, it was a 5-minute fix. Compressor right there, mandatory compressor for that kind of stuff. But that's this tire plug kit and that compressor there. This is another vitally important tool. Okay, because if you don't have traction boards, you're going to end up cutting saplings to use them for traction. You're going to use saplings for a lot of different things out there when you have to. If you don't have a jack base and you're going to have to take the end of a tree, you grab a diameter tree that's big enough for your jack base, you can cut a sliver of that off however thick you need and put it on the ground to set your jack on. Okay, there's a lot of features and functions that you got to have a saw for. I swear, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the ARS saws, and that's what this one is right here. More straps, more tie down straps in here. There is under here, this is important here too, but you can see I have a ton of straps, recovery straps. I also have a few of the hard shackles, not that I use them very often, but I have them. Super glue, you don't need for any of that stuff, but this here is vitally important too. What we have in here is a hitch recovery pin. Okay, I leave it in here so it doesn't get stolen. Okay, I've had this on 4 different vehicles now. The tape is on there to keep it quiet so it didn't rattle. But this thing is vitally, vitally important. So if you're going to have somebody come and recover you, the old wives' tale, see I got more shackles in there, but the old wives' tale is that you can actually connect to a hitch pin which I have a hitch pin in here, right here. People think that you can just pull this pin and put a strap on there and that's going to hold. This will not hold. There is nothing to protect it in here, therefore it has no shear strength. So this is not going to hold. This is actually a very dangerous thing to have to do, is to connect to that hitch pin, even though people think so. So instead, what we can do is take this piece and we can plug it into the trailer hitch, put the pin through it, up, down, whatever we want, and then we can take a shackle and put a shackle on there, and now we have a dedicated tow out point for vehicles that do not have a recovery point. It's very important that you have something like this. They're $30. They don't have to be expensive. You can spend $80 and get them where they're nicely milled and all that, and it'll work great with soft shackles, but it doesn't have to be expensive. But you're going to want one. Even though I carry one, I don't even need one because I have a Gladiator that has double hooks on the back right here. And now also another feature, if you are going to tow somebody out or get towed out, do not think for a second that these will work. Okay, you'll bend them and rip those right off. Okay, those will not work. Also, I'm not a fan of a single recovery point hitch, so I can use my smaller tow straps as a bridle, or I can use that let's grab it and show you actually here. Let me slide this stuff out of the way. Flip this seat up. Look at all the room in this Gladiator. Look at all the room in this thing. Not to mention I have storage behind. Let's drop it. I'll show you real quick. But I actually have storage behind all the seats too in here. It's just amazing. I got my, I'll show you that thing in a minute too when we get over there. But I love this truck. God, I love this truck. So anyway, we can take here. Oh, it's all the way over there. Let me grab it. Okay. Take this tree saver, which is a smaller one right here. I'm doing this one-handed, so you kind of got to bear with me for a second here. So we're going to set this here. I'm going to open it. I like everything neat and organized. Okay, so we take this. I can take this tree saver and use it as a bridle by hooking it on here, straightening it out, and then hooking it on here, and I have double tow points connected, and then I put a soft shackle to the strap on here. Okay, and now we can put that on there, right? Hang on, there we go. So now when I'm pulling, I am pulling from both of those tow straps at the same time, those anchor points, not pulling from just one anchor point. Soft shackle on here connected to the strap makes life a lot easier. So I'm a big fan of the fact that I got doubles on here, but having enough tow straps and stuff like that is great. Now, I will put in a link to this. You've seen it on my video probably already, where you can actually tie a strap to your wheels out to the back, and then use this. You can use your tire as a winch and drive over them. Tactic works really good too. I will link that video in the end of this for you so you can watch that and how it happens, okay? But I show you with my Ram, but basically you're putting one of these straps through the tires, and then what you're going to do is as that strap goes around, it's going to pull it in, and you're going to drive over this backwards, and it is going to wrap around. It's going to keep wrapping around the tire as you drive over it, pulling you out, driving you basically right up the strap. So makes life really easy as another kind of last resort, get you out on your own kind of thing. So there's a lot of tactics. One more we want to talk about is your brake, okay? A lot of people are not aware of this, but when you are stuck, when you have open differentials, even in four-wheel drive. So let's say, for example, you have this truck, or you have your truck and you have four-wheel drive. In four-wheel drive with open differentials and no locker, you really, as soon as a wheel breaks free on the front or the back, when one starts spinning, that's the maximum amount of torque that is transferred. So if this one starts spinning and they say it only needs, let's say it only needs 50 pounds of torque for it to break free and spin, the other wheel cannot get more than that same 50 pounds of torque. In the front, if this needs 50 pounds of torque, that one, and it's spinning free, okay, because you're slipping, that one will not get more than 50 pounds of torque. So the two wheels that actually might have traction can't move the vehicle because they don't have enough torque to them. However, we can bypass that. Okay, so but put it into perspective, a four-wheel drive vehicle is really only two-wheel drive. Okay, in two-wheel drive, this is a one-wheel drive truck when it's stuck. Whichever back wheel loses traction gets all the power and it doesn't move. Okay, in four-wheel drive, whichever two wheels, one wheel in the front, one wheel in the back, loses traction, the other two stop there too. So realistically, in two-wheel drive, it's one-wheel drive. In four-wheel drive, it's two-wheel drive. again, when you're in slippery stuff or it's getting stuck. And when you have four-wheel drive and a rear locker, your three-wheel drive, this is the only true version of four-wheel drive, is front locked, rear locked. Okay, with that said, we can simulate a locker on this on both the front and the back with the brake pedal. Like we said, if this requires 50, if this is losing power at 50 foot-pounds of torque and it's spinning, the other wheel we know only gets 50 pounds of torque too, because the spinning wheel sets the parameters. Okay, when this one breaks free and starts spinning at 50 pounds of torque, that one is only getting 50 pounds of torque, and neither of those that doesn't have enough power to move you. If you step on your brake pedal while you are giving it gas, apply the brake and keep pushing harder and harder on the brake and push more and more on the gas, you are taking this spinning wheel from 50 foot-pounds of torque needed from the engine. By applying the brake to it, you are making this now need 100, 150, 180 foot-pounds of torque, 200 foot-pounds of torque to beat the brakes, which means that wheel that has traction and that wheel that has traction now gets 100 and 150, 180 foot-pounds of torque to match, and those two wheels over there will be the ones that pull you out. Okay, I have videos of all this stuff on my Samco Workshop channel. If you haven't been in that channel, go check it out. I got tons of this kind of content on that channel that will help you tremendously. So, but these are ways to get your vehicle unstuck on your own where you don't have to deal with it. Now, one of the questions I get all the time is, well, what if I'm out in a field and I don't have anything to anchor off to if I want to try and winch out with like a come along or the White Scott power puller, or if I even want to do that where I'm going to do the double strap and connect it there and I'm going to drive over my straps. Remember, you can take your spare tire, you can pop your spare tire off that you have underneath, take that spare tire and your shovel, go out here someplace where it's good and set, dig a hole and bury that as far back as you can. Bury it right down in the ground and then connect to that, and that will become a dead man anchor that will pull you out of there too. So you can always do that if you're stuck in a field or something like that too. So as I'm putting this away, people are going to ask too, well, why do I even carry this for this hitch thing if I already have these double anchor points on here? Why even bother still carrying this if I have the recovery points? The answer is I carry this for the trucks that I'm pulling out, okay? So if I go to recover somebody, most likely 90% of the people in the world will not have something like this. All they have is a hitch with no recovery points on the back. So and you never want to recover from a hitch ball. Okay, this thing is very, very dangerous. That's not designed to handle that, and people die from, you know, from trying to pull on those. So I carry this in case I have to recover somebody with a truck and they don't have one of these and they don't have hooks. I can plug this into their receiver, which is also why earlier when I mentioned we have an extra hitch pin over there. If they don't have a hitch pin, I have one there that I can use for this, and then I also keep one for myself for when I plug my hitch in, but I can also use my hitch pin. It's always connected to the truck to connect to that, you know, to hook this up in their vehicle. So then I can take this and I can tie into their truck with my straps and pull them out safely. This way I don't have to worry about anything coming back and flying, you know, any straps breaking or hitch pins breaking and coming through my window and killing me. So that's why it's important we all have this, even if you have recovery points, because the person you're going to tow out or that's going to come and tow you out may not have a way to do it. This gives you a way to give them something to use to keep you safe while they're doing it. Hopefully this video gives you some tips and some tactics to help you prevent from getting stuck. But like I said, highly recommend you pop over to my Samco Workshop channel and check out the off-road section there. I got playlists, but you check out the off-road playlist and it will teach you so many of these things. So there you go. Thanks for watching.